We will be live in a few seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, 14 people are waiting, it seems. Okay.
At least there is someone.
Yeah. I think we're live. So if people can hear us and see us, please say so in the comments so we know everything is
Hello,
good.
everyone.
Nobody's writing anything yet. There are no.
Should I check as well?
Well, can anyone hear us? I'll just. Okay. Somebody said hi. That's good.
Hey. Oh, there is a bit of delay, remember, perhaps.
Probably, but I'm just like typing with somebody who's watching the stream. So yeah, okay, sounds good. I can hear you. Okay, so I think we're good.
Awesome.
If something, if you see or hear any problems, just let us know. And till then, let's introduce you. So tell us something about yourself and your channel. What do you do?
So, my name is Gather. I make things on YouTube. All kind of projects, going from blacksmithing, working with metal in general, so metal casting, but also other things like leatherworking. Anything that interests me to some degree, I feel like I can experiment. I am not like a master of any sort about anything.
Even though it seems like that when I watch your videos, it looks like you know like everything.
Yeah,
that's how it seems.
The magic of editing.
That's the secret.
No, I mean, of course, if there are obvious problems, I tend to point those out rather than hide things. But yes, like I don't go in pretending to know everything. And many times I've discovered and learned new things just by other people saying in the comments or connecting with other makers. So,
yeah. That's very good. The community actually helps and gives a lot of advice. I also like to read the comments under the video because you see 1,000 different perspectives on the problem. So it's very good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. How long?
The perspectives are always all over the place as well.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's not as helpful, but sometimes it is. How long does is the channel going on? Your channel?
Just after 5 years, like 5 years and a couple of months.
No, that's a lot. That's a lot. How many videos did you make so far?
Approximately. Like 250 more or less.
That's a lot. In my opinion, it's a lot. Yeah. So like, is your daytime job related to the channel? How did you learn all the skills that you have?
I've learned everything just by trying. I've learned a lot, especially in the beginning, watching others on YouTube. Like, I remember when I was starting, I was watching a lot of YouTube about making, all sorts of making. At the beginning, I was like interested in knife making, so I think I watched every single knife making video I could find on YouTube. And back then, there were quite much fewer than there are now, to be honest. So it was easier to just watch everything. And I've learned pretty much everything by trying and by watching others. I have no training. I had no like master school about making things.
That's interesting.
Yeah, what was the question? Yeah.
I just
I lost myself.
But I presume that you had to know these things in advance to be able to do them. I mean, because you do a lot of very diverse stuff, right? It's as you said, leatherwork, welding, blacksmithing, right? But I guess it's just about learning, trying out different things, right? New things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time someone asks me, like, how do you get started? How do you learn? I always say, like, go ahead, try, start from something small and like doable in scale, not with like making a 2 meter sword, or like start with something manageable and you learn while doing.
Yeah, I liked what you said about like 5 years ago. There wasn't that many channels like that, right? Which I also noticed, because this is the type of channel that I like to watch, like a maker channel. And there's so many restoration channels. Everybody is restoring stuff nowadays. Is it hard to still be on top of the game, because there's so much competition right now?
Well, yeah, I try not to look at it that way, but more like from a viewer perspective, so a user, not maker. There is definitely too many things to watch today.
Yeah.
But as far as like, if I think about maker community and all this stuff, like I don't want to pretend we are in a competition. I feel like there are always enough people that are watching for all of us, or something like that.
Well, yeah, probably. Somebody asked a very good question. Do you do YouTube full time?
Yes.
Yes. So that's like, at what point did you manage to, just say, I'm a YouTuber, I live from YouTube?
So I was in a very fortunate position, still living with my parents, so I had no expenses. I was studying. I finished the bachelor degree in engineering, and I was starting the specialization. And at that point, I decided, let me give a try for making videos on YouTube and being a content creator. So I was very lucky to start full time since pretty much day one. It took some years, of course, to make it like a real work, because of course at the beginning there is no money to be made, only passion and wanting to make and to share. And after like a couple of years, then it started to become a job, in the sense that I can also make a living of.
And how does it does it feel like a work? Like, do you feel the pressure of just, I need to make another video, it's been a week already, or something?
Like, it depends. Sometimes yes. Most of the time no. Most of the time, like, I'm very happy to, I mean, I wanted to do this because I love making things with my hand. I love experimenting and trying new things and learning a bit of everything, like a jack of all trade, and not really specializing in anything. So I am always interested in what I want to make, and I don't have anyone that tells me you have to do this week or that other project. So being so free in this sense, it does not feel like a work. But then other times it does feel like work, because of course it's a full-time thing, and now is my livelihood depends on the fact that I make videos. So there is a bit more pressure right now, but yeah, still really like it. Yeah.
Do you also like do some other work? Do people hire you to do anything, or is it just strictly YouTube?
Like in the sense of promotion, so still related to YouTube. Sometimes I have like brand promotion, or someone asked me to make a knife or a sword for a promotional campaign about a game or something like that, then yes. But outside the world of content creator on YouTube, no, I don't. I don't sell things I make. I don't look for clients to make things. So yeah. It's pretty different than what you do, right? You make things for filmmaking and props.
Well, yeah, I'm also trying to do my own projects, but unfortunately, I'm not at that point yet to be able to live from that. Yeah, so basically, all I do for myself is just is still a hobby or a passion at this point, but commercially, I still do commercials and visual effects for money and stuff like that. So yeah, it's 50-50 at this point. Yeah. But
also, your main job is not like with your hands; it's more with computer and editing.
Yes, computer. Yeah, I try to balance it. I try to spend as much time in the workshop as I can, because that's my free time from the computer. I go crazy when I'm at the computer too much. Yeah,
yeah, I feel you.
So we have a couple of questions already about the laser cutting experience. So tell us a little bit about that. Like which laser cutter do you have, and what projects did you do with it?
Yes, I have the FLUX Beambox Pro, I think. I'm not sure if it's the biggest, but not the smallest for sure. And I came into I think so. I came into laser cutting without knowing anything at all. So like I didn't have any experience with other laser cutter or other technologies for what that matters. And my experience was great with the FLUX Beambox machine. And since I got it, I'm still learning how I can implement it in my workflow, because as I said, it's a new thing. So every time you introduce a new machine, even machine like this one that speeds up your process or allow you to make repetitive tasks quicker and more precisely, still needs a bit of time to find this place into the workflow. At least for me, like I don't do production, everything is one-off. So my use is probably a little bit of a niche for a machine of this kind. But the setup process was extremely easy. Like I don't want to say 10 minutes, but for sure in half an hour, I was already cutting and engraving, no problems, very easy. The web interface worked out very, very well for me. I have a small laptop that I use in the workshop for emailing and general things. So it was very, very easy.
Did you have any prior experience with, I don't know, something similar? Because I just talked to Mars Gizmo and he's very big with 3D printing, right? So it was probably more natural for him to, it's just another tool, right? And did you do anything similar?
Well, yeah, I do have experience with 3D printing. I've used them for maybe 3 years, I want to say. And I know it works, but like, it's not quite the same between laser cutting and 3D printing, you know? I also am pretty confident in 3D modeling. So I feel like I was closer to 3D printing than I am to laser cutting. Laser cutting, everything is two-dimensional.
Yeah, 2D.
I'm not a big user about vectorial editing programs like Adobe Suite or others. So going from 3D modeling to 3D printing didn't feel like, how do I say it? It was a bit natural. As of now, there was a bit more distance between me and laser cutting, I think. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yes, really, you don't really need to have a huge experience in vectorial editing and drawing. Or as of now, I've used it without touching any editing software.
Yeah. Well, I like to see like different makers use it completely differently, right? So like the thing, I saw your video where you used it to make a handle for the knife, right? Which I have actually here, and I'm going to play it right now while we talk. So like it's completely different to what I use it. Like your finished product was a knife. That's something I would never make, basically, right? I do tiny precise stuff, and I make like miniature stuff, and build real world objects in miniature scale. So it's completely different. Absolutely. And you basically just cut out a lot of circles and made a handle.
I feel like your use with making the dojo. I watched your video about making the dojo. And you used the laser cutter, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
For the siding, and like, I mean, that is a very good way to use the machine, right?
Yeah, I mean, it helped me. I literally, I think I couldn't do it by hand without a laser cutter, right? Now after using laser cutter, it's just it's so precise, and it really shows on camera, because when I'm going to talk more about it in my own stream on Thursday. But the thing is, like, when you come with the camera near a miniature, right? If it's handmade, everything is just like, wonky and not precise. But with this is like machine cut these parts, and you can get much more realism because of that, right? So in my area, that was the biggest payoff, right? The realism, the precise thing, right? And that's not what you need out of a laser cutter. Basically, for you, actually, you needed to make a lot of parts that are the same, a lot of repetitive parts, basically, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it also helped you with, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I made that project first because it was in knife making, handles with stacked things is very typical about leather. You can see also hammers that have leather stacked handle, because leather on the edges is durable, but it's also soft. It has a nice grip. So it's a material that stacked one on top of the other has been used for many years, I think. So even in Northern Europe, in Finland, they make handles also with wood bark, wood bark. The outside layer of a tree.
Bark.
And they do the same thing where they stack it and then they glue it. And that also I've never.
And what did you use here?
I used cork.
Cork. Okay.
Cork. Yeah, and felt. Felt is a material that I use often in knives because when you soak it in resin, it gets very hard. Like it's almost like a fiberglass resin.
Yeah.
Very stiff.
It soaks a lot of resin inside, right? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot, like a sponge. And the cool thing about what is the name? Felt is that it comes in many colors and also thicknesses. So again, in the handle, if you want to do little color accent, you can use felt soaked with resin, and it works very well.
So basically, you used cork is the brown parts, right? And the parts in between, the thin black parts, that's felt, right? So it's like a mixture of materials, yeah.
Yes. And everything infused with epoxy resin.
Yeah. So then you can sand it and polish it, and because of the resin.
Yeah. Holds very well. It's like a composite materials, like fiberglass. Probably not as strong as fiberglass because fiberglass is like tiny shards of glass. This is more, especially the cork. The felt gets extremely hard and homogeneous. The cork, on the other hand, if you have like a sharp corner, you can chip little parts of cork because the base material of the cork is softer. It's more like a spongy wood. And with cork, you can.
Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, like, you make a lot of knives. Like, how come? Why the love for knives?
Oh, knives is the thing that got me into making. And the super fun things about knife making is that it can jumpstart many other fields of making. Start from knife making, you can go into leatherworking because you want to make a sheath. You can go into resin and composite material for making weird handle materials. And then there is like I've never done it, but engraving. I mean, it's something where it's very natural to bring in more aspect of making, I think. And I really like it because you can make it almost every time different. There are so many things that you can experiment with in the realm of knife making. And then there's also the fact that you have a usable tool at the end, and sharp things are generally cool.
Definitely, yeah. Somebody asked, like, what are your next projects with the laser cutter? Do you have something planned? Some other ways you can use it?
Maybe a couple of years back, I made a leather wallet. And I've been using that ever since I made it. So it's starting to be a little bit worn down at this point. And I remember very well back when I made it that the thing that took me more time and was more time and effort consuming was cutting out the leather to size.
Yeah.
For cutting leather, like leather is a can be a pretty tough material on cutting utensil, and especially if you want to make round corners or holes, you need to use punches, and then the edges are not like as crisp as you would want them.
Yeah.
So I really look forward to make possibly the same exact wallet that I made back then, but with the laser cutter.
Yeah. Which makes sense because basically even the tiny holes that you need to sew through, basically, that's also you can also cut them because it can cut really under a millimeter, very precise tiny holes. So basically, with just one drawing, you can design the whole wallet, unwrap it, cut it out, and wrap it together. Yeah, that's a really good idea for a project.
You can you don't need 20 tools.
Yeah,
you can do everything on the laser cutter.
Yeah, exactly. When you make a design, send me the file. I want to make one as well.
Oh, sure. I will make it available for everyone.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay, somebody asked something about collaboration, but I'm not sure I understand. Like, will you collaborate to make another one very cool BIMO project? I'm not sure what that means, basically, but okay. The question is, did you collaborate with some other YouTubers? Maybe that's So
sure.
Which ones? Maybe we know some.
Like recently with My Mechanics.
Okay, I watched it. I watched it.
Yeah, makes very, very good restorations.
Yes, he's one of the best guys on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's very, very perfectionist and everything super clean. So he made me some parts for a restoration I was doing, power hammer. He's a very good machinist, and at the time I didn't have even had a mill, so it was a great collaboration between us because I really needed something from him. But more on your side of making, I collaborated with Nerdforge. You know, Martina and Nancy.
Yes, Nerdforge. I don't know about that.
We made a book.
The book.
We made a book.
Okay.
Yeah, I cast aluminum covers in aluminum.
Okay.
I made aluminum covers by melting the metal and pouring into molds, and they took that and made an incredible book.
Okay, I found it.
Yeah.
I found the video. Yeah, so also casting metal is another skill that you have, right? Yeah.
Casting metal is super fun. And about the laser, the same goes for cutting, to make the book covers.
Yeah.
Or I mean, in general, when you want to cast something in metal, you first need to have the same object, but not in metal, because you need to make a mold. Did I said it?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay, you got it. Yeah.
Like a prototype in some other material before you cast it, right?
Yeah, something that is easier to cut. Like for example, wood, very traditional way of making patterns, and more recently, there are like MDF or composite materials that are even easier to cut. So back when I did that, I used thin sheets of MDF, and I cut them all out with a box cutter, and it was quite a lot of work, you know. And MDF as well can be pretty tough to cut, especially if you do many parts. I think the laser cutter would make a killer job about making those pattern to then cast.
That's actually something that I use when I make miniatures. I basically it's about stacking layers on top. So I cut something in MDF. I cut how do I say it? A couple of layers, and then when I put them on top of each other, I get some interesting texture, right? For example, building windows and stuff like that, right? So that's exactly what you're talking about, but for a book cover. But yes, basically just cutting. Each layer has a different design, and when you stack them together, you get a thick book cover, right? You put it then in like what, sand for casting? How did you? Maybe I can find it in the video.
There are some kind of sand you can use. I use one that is oil bonded, so you have to buy it. You can't really make it yourself at home. And in contrast, you can make other sand that are called green sand, that are made with bentonite clay. So like cat litter thing, little particles, and you can grind those up and mix it with regular sand. It works similar, but for me it's just convenient to use Petrobond sand because moreover the fact that it's ready to use, it also gives a very, very nice surface finish if you pack it very well. So yeah, I use a Petrobond sand that is the kind of orange, reddish sand that you can see in all my videos. And then I usually make 2-part molds. For sure, you know how that works because same procedure as you do like a silicone molds for reproducing small parts. Pretty much the same exact process. You have like a hollow box that matches on 2 sides. Fill one side, then flip it over, fill the other side, and separate it, and it leaves like a cavity. And finally, in that cavity can go the molten metal in this case.
Is it dangerous to work with molten metal? Like, are you scared?
I mean, yeah, it can be for sure. I mean, I've never had any kind of injuries with molten metal, and you better don't have any kind of injuries with molten metal because if things go wrong, they go
really wrong.
I'm sure. No, I don't wanna even think about it. But yes, aluminum is easy because it melts at low temperatures, like 1740 degrees Celsius. And so far I've melted aluminum, brass, that is a mixture of copper and zinc, and straight copper, and those have higher melting temperature, but still not as high that you have like exploding metals, or perhaps you have seen it when sometimes they show steel casting manufacturing, and there are like sparks everywhere with big crucible that glow like the sun. It's not, the stuff I do is not that hot, so definitely a bit less dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. You also have 2 million subscribers on YouTube. So like, how long did it take you? I mean, basically probably 5 years, right, to get to this point? Yeah. Because interestingly, Marsgizmo just said like he under a year basically he went to 2 million, right? Something like that.
That's crazy.
So that's crazy, and it's interesting because he uses these short formats, a lot of stories, right? And you do 10, 15, 20-minute videos, which is completely different, right? So it's very interesting to compare what people put out on YouTube these days, because his way is completely weird to me. I never thought like somebody would just make stories and that it would work. But YouTube is changing as well, I guess, right?
Oh yeah. All thanks to TikTok, I think. Like TikTok is going very, very strong in the last couple of years at this point. And I feel like the other social media platforms are playing like a catch up on the content of TikTok, because it's very easy to consume short content, lay down at the evening and you watch 50 videos of 10 seconds. How is it called? Like dopamine levels.
Yeah, that could be it.
Easy to enjoy.
Yeah. If somebody has any questions, feel free to write them in the comments. So we will answer them. And in the meantime, I would like to show one. It's probably my favorite video of yours. It's the restoration of the Bridgeport milling machine. I know it's very specific, but I just want to look at this machine. Like everybody who's watching us, this is like it's as big as a room, right? And you restored it, and that like restoration of the huge machines it's also like a niche on YouTube that a lot of people are interested in, and people restore heavy machines and stuff. And I can't understand how is somebody capable of this, right? You dismantled it into I mean, but it feels like it has a million pieces. How do you keep track of everything? How do you know how to put it back together? That's what I want to know.
It's one of those things that looks intimidating and don't think just for the sheer size, but as you start to get into it, a piece of the time, everything starts to get smaller, and in reality it's not hard at all. It just takes a tremendous amount of time. Like that's the only problem for me. That was a very, very long project. It took me 1 month from start to finish with filming and everything. So a project that takes 1 month to make in the realm of YouTube is extremely long.
Yeah.
But thank you, appreciate it.
Oh, and you used flux again here to cut something.
Oh yes.
What was that?
That was wipers. Like in old machinery, perhaps even in new machinery, but I think is like there are sliding surfaces. Okay, so you think a milling machine has 3 axes of movement. So you have the bit, and the parts can move side to side, front and back, and then up and down. So 3 axes, and those axes can slide one over the other, and they do it very, very precisely, and they are very tight. There is a lot of oil in between, so it's like nice and lubricated. And those are machine surface, and then even more than a machine, like a machine part, you can say is flat, okay? But in reality, like if you really look at it, it's actually not all that flat. So what they do is they scrape it. Have you ever heard about scraping steel? Scraping is like a... I don't think so. Perhaps you can see it in the video, the ways that are those sliding surfaces that I'm referring to. Kind of a texture, a pattern, like a small half moons.
Okay.
Those are there.
This part, right? Yeah, I think so. I think I know what you mean.
Those are made by hand from a guy that used to work on that machine, and with like a tiny hardened pieces of steel, he would go over all the surface and make it extremely, extremely flat. Like if you see a surface with that kind of finish, it means that it's probably extremely flat. All this to say, they need to be extremely flat surfaces to slide well and don't have like a distortion in the piece translated from the surface of sliding not being completely flat. And when you have a kind of surfaces like this, you don't want anything to go in between those surfaces other than oil. The problem being like small dust particles or grinding sparks or things, they can be sometimes very hard, and those can scratch the perfectly flat surfaces that the machine uses to move around. So
you put felt. Was this felt again?
Yeah. It was felt. Felt stops like it wipes. They are called wipers because I think wiping motion. So they protect any kind of particles from going in between the sliding surfaces.
And I see, like,
and yes, I used the laser cutter.
Yeah, and I see you used laser a very interesting technique because you put the old ones on the paper. You took photos. Or, I mean, the flux machine has a camera, right? So it scanned the surface, and then you basically traced the outline, right? And immediately you had the exactly same size to cut out, right, from the new material. Yeah, which is clever.
Like extremely convenient.
Yeah.
Like those kind of felt pieces, it's better if they are a little bit oversized, so they can conform to the shape, the exact shape. You don't really want to cut them precisely, and then perhaps there is a little gap where the small particles can go under. So you rather have it a bit bigger, and then you squeeze it into, and it conforms perfectly. So it was the perfect application to just trace it with the camera.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure it can be used. I don't think they implemented the camera for this precise reason. I think it's more to lay out the part you want to cut on the material.
That's why it's interesting. I never saw anybody use it like this, you know, as a...
Oh, really?
To photograph an image, I just use it for layout, basically, right? So...
Yeah, for layout it works very well.
Yeah, but it's an interesting technique.
This application that was not like extremely accurate, or I didn't have like a extremely precise shape to go after. Just tracing over the image of the camera was perfect, super easy, super quick.
Yeah. I want to know a little bit more about your workshop. How big is it? Like, is it like a garage or is it like a proper workshop?
No, it's like maybe a 2-car garage. I don't know, like when you see in America, 2-car garage is like huge.
It's yeah, probably bigger than European garages. Like
Yeah, like where I live in Italy, a garage, you can just fit 1 car, and then you go on the side of the car to go out. So yeah, might be 8 meters by 6 meter divided in 2 rooms, more or less. Yeah, it's not huge, but
yeah,
I can fit many things.
Yeah. What city are you from in Italy?
I am near Bologna.
Bologna.
Northeast.
Northeast. Cool. Well, nobody seems to ask any questions. Yeah. Ask some questions, people. We are talking with a very interesting person. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the Anvil. That's another one. Another video that I liked. I just bought an Anvil as well.
Oh, really?
Probably a week ago. That's my first Anvil. I was like very passionate about Anvil, but I don't know. I was trying to find an Anvil for a couple of years, and you can't. I mean, they're very expensive. So I saw your Anvil video, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna make a base for it. Let's see how he makes it. And it was a very funny beginning of the video because you were talking about this one Anvil, and then you zoom out, which now you're gonna do. And there's another huge anvil beneath it, right? And I was like, whoa, that's like, what, 300 kilograms anvil or something? That's enormous.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, so you did like a concrete base for it. So it's, it was a very interesting video, yeah.
You got yours to start next week?
No, not yet.
Work?
Just in general, it's small one, 20 kilograms. It's like this, but just straightening things on it and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Maybe one day I'll start forging something.
I have one that is 20 kilo as well. It's like super handy to have in the workshop, even not for forging. Like a nice solid base is always handy when you make things.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody asked, like, what's the dumbest in the good way thing you made with a laser? Like the dumbest, the silliest. Well,
it's a hard one. Like
it's a hard one. I'm also thinking, like, what did I do?
Yeah, what did I do stupid with the laser? Perhaps I've tried to lift it by myself. That was stupid.
When you got it, right? Yes.
Yeah,
me
but
too.
It was heavy.
I tried as well.
The problem is, like,
it's one piece. It's enormous and it's in one piece, right? You can't just
exactly.
Yeah. The other day, I have for example, a story. It's not that dumb. I actually think of it as a win. I'm collecting records, right? Vinyl records, and I always wanted on my turntable. I wanted to have a felt, but yellow one, right? Because my turntable is black, and I wanted a yellow felt covering, like a circular covering, right? So that the record would sit on it. And I went to look on eBay, and it's like $30 or something, just for this one piece of felt, right? And I'm like, I'm not giving $30 plus shipping plus everything, right? No way. And I just went to the store and I bought like 2 square meters of felt and I cut it out on a laser the other day. I didn't really know how it's gonna. I never cut felt before, so I didn't know if it's gonna burn or what, right? But it cut really beautifully, and it's just like for a couple of dollars, I cut out my own covering, and it's this
then you can really start a business with the leftover for your And now I can, anyone needs one.
For only $20 I can, make. That's good. But I mean, I've seen a lot of people actually, they make businesses with laser cutters, right? I'm a member, I mentioned, of this group on Facebook, a couple of groups about laser cutters, FLUX laser cutters in general, especially FLUX laser cutters. So all of the people in the group, they use it for, products. They make products with it, right? Not many people use it like you and me use it, like, just for creative purposes for themselves. And they're just churning out, these keychains and whatever, right?
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
And as far as I've seen, like they return the initial investment, pretty fast, and then you start earning money. So
I'm
if
sure.
somebody's, if somebody needs a side job, it's probably very cool to
Yes.
laser cut stuff or sell it on Etsy or
Yes, if you
something
think
like that.
like a small keychain, perhaps
Yeah,
like a leather keychain with a logo,
yeah,
like how many you can fit on a laser cutter? Like 50 in one sheet? I don't know, like just eyeballing, but like you can make many parts. Almost, you place the material, duplicate your design, and you can just walk away, come back half an hour later, and you have like 50 products that are more or less ready to go.
yeah,
It's doable,
yeah. It's
for sure.
doable.
Like I
Yeah,
have no doubt.
it is. Somebody asked, like, did either one of you guys have foundry classes in public school? Do you know what a foundry class is? I'm not familiar with the term.
Foundry usually refers to metal casting, I think.
Aha, foundry, like that foundry. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Foundry, maybe,
Here in the
but
States,
no,
they
I
used to
did not.
teach it in shop class. I didn't know
Damn.
that. They teach you how to cast metals in school in America.
How many years ago? Like
100 probably.
seems like a yeah,
It
seems
seems
like
like-
an old time.
Yeah. But that's cool.
Like,
I
did
think
you
that's-
even have workshop classes in high school and school?
Well, I went to art school, so I
Oh well,
every day it was like a
Yes.
yeah. But
yes.
I don't think that's in elementary school. It was like it was called like a technical class or something. Yeah, right.
Yes,
But
yes.
it was very basic and very lame, basically.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah, just
I think that's important. People should do casting metal in schools today.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. No way it's gonna happen again. No way.
Yeah, I
Could you
agree.
imagine?
Yeah, it would be an outrage. Parents would say like, "Oh my God, my kid is
Yeah.
yeah,
They're gonna die.
they're gonna die." But yeah, the world is changing,
Yes.
and probably not in a
I mean, it
good
would
way.
be super cool if they did.
Yeah.
I would be 100% for it.
uh,
I wish I did.
yeah, me too, right? So Doug, the guy who said that, he said like they did about 30, not 100, 30 years ago. So yeah, okay, maybe
Oh wow.
90s, 80s, 90s. Yeah.
90s.
But yeah, I mean, well, you know what? At least we have YouTube now, because back then, when you wanted to learn a skill, I
Yeah.
don't know, like, it was hard to just. You had to probably find somebody else in your city or a street or wherever you live, right? And just learn from.
Yes. Yes.
Which is good again, but
Yes.
nowadays, literally anything you can think of, somebody made a tutorial about it on YouTube, right? So it's
Yes,
on
yes,
one hand,
yes,
it's
yes.
very, very convenient, and it's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much agree. Like back, maybe like my parents, if
Okay.
someone wanted, yeah, there is a question.
No, but somebody says, like, to be fair, like today they are using laser cutters and 3D printers in schools. So okay, that's true. That's true.
More fitting for sure.
But okay, yeah, I'm just thinking like not every school has those things, unfortunately, but it's changing because the prices are dropping, right? So nowadays, almost every school can afford a 3D
Yeah.
printer. Or
Like I
laser
remember maybe 6-7 years ago, like 3D printing was so expensive.
Yeah.
Like today, you can take
cutter. Exactly.
€100 and get something. Like back then, it was like 1,000 to
Yeah.
get something. And
Yeah.
I'm
So, yeah.
not 100% sure, but I think it's the same with laser cutter. Like
But
they
the-
must used to be so expensive compared to what they
You
are
probably
now.
couldn't even get one like a regular person, right? Only, big companies
Yeah.
could afford them, right? The technology
Yeah,
is
yeah, exactly.
advancing very fast and it's getting cheaper, which is cool.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Doug said I made him feel old because of all the talk about molting metals. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, it's interesting, the world we live in, crazy world we live in. Any other questions? So do you want to add something, something else about your work that we didn't mention so far?
But not really, like
Oh.
nothing particular.
I remember something. I heard that you also like painting miniatures, right? Which is something
Yes.
I would like to talk about. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So you can see maybe something in the corner of my image. I have
It's
like
cropped.
IKEA.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I have like two IKEA display shelves, display cases,
Mm-hmm.
and they are filled with miniatures. Doesn't matter. They're filled with miniatures because yes, I've been into miniatures painting and wargaming almost 20 years now. Almost like 19 maybe.
So what kind? Like, all I know is like Warhammer or something like that. Is that what you're thinking
I
about?
pretty much started with Warhammer, and there is also a game about Lord of the Ring with the same kind of miniatures. So back then, many years ago, I started with Lord of the Rings miniatures battle, and since then, like building and painting miniatures is pretty much the only hobby that I have right now, and absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Like these days, I'm leaning more toward the soul building aspect of the hobby instead of painting, because painting is like it takes some effort to make good work, and instead Gundam, Gunpla kit,
the robots.
Gundam.
I know. Do you have one, right?
I do.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's going to.
So you have to build that from scratch, or is it just from as a kit, or is it just a?
Yes, this is a kit. Yeah, it comes. Where is it?
We have a couple of cool questions, so
let's move forward. It comes like this.
But okay, that's and then you have to assemble it and paint it, yeah. Which I mean, it's a good hobby to have. I think it's very relaxing, in my opinion, at least. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So a very interesting question: how safe is a laser? It's
100% safe.
I have a good story about it, right? So when I got it a couple of months ago, right? I started a job. It started cutting, and I was like, I had a camera, and I wanted to get a good angle, right? And the first thing I wanted to do is like, oh, let's open the lid and I want to get my camera really close to the laser, right? And the moment I opened the lid, it completely shut down. It has a safety feature, right? And it just stopped working. And it said like, when you close the lid, moron, then I'm going to continue. It didn't say moron. It's just, I felt like a moron. It's like, of course, you don't want to put your finger inside. So yeah, they're extremely safe. Nothing can happen, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you don't want to look directly to the laser. Like, of course, I mean, you don't want to look at a laser because you have eyes.
Yeah.
And then there are the fumes as well. But
of course, you need to.
The machine comes with a hose, and you can vent it outside. And other than that, like you can't really hurt yourself or anything.
Yeah. Somebody said. What site do you recommend for good laser templates? Well, I personally designed everything so far myself. I never looked for something, but somebody said you can find a lot of designs on Etsy. Yeah, somebody answered, which is true, because I also see like people when they show what they did, like in these Facebook groups, a lot of the times they say, I found this really cool design on Etsy. Some very complicated designs, and probably Etsy is a good place.
I mean, anything that is in vector form, you can probably use super easily, right? It doesn't have to be specific for laser.
No.
And even JPEG, I mean, raster images, like you can convert.
So yeah, the program that comes with Beam, with any kind of BMO, Beambox, or Beambox Pro, it can actually trace the image if it's a high contrast image, right? If it's really black and white, you can just trace it and cut it out. It makes the work for you. Yeah. And for engraving, any kind of JPEG is going to be okay. So yeah, even if you don't have any, you can basically literally draw something with a pencil on paper and just trace it and cut it out. So yeah, that's also very practical. Okay, no questions anymore. Okay, I don't know. Like, maybe I don't even have any other questions that I planned to ask you. So
Okay.
okay, a question. Can you design a Gundam? Did I pronounce it right? Gundam, robot.
Yeah.
Gundam. That I can cut out and assemble in wood. I found one of a wasp, but it's a wasp, not a Gundam.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Like you know those. You cut many parts in wood and then they interlock between one and another.
Okay.
You know, like perhaps toys for kids.
I know about
things like that.
I used to see dinosaurs or something. Yeah, skeletons.
Yeah,
skeletons.
exactly. Dinosaur. Yes.
Sure.
And those look super nice.
Yeah.
And about a Gundam, like I could not do it, to be honest. Seems to be a bit involved.
Well, I encountered something similar when I was building the dojo, right? For that as a miniature, right? I had to do all kinds of tiny things that had to interlock with each other and had to form a house in the end, right? And the only way I could think of how to do it is I built it roughly in a 3D program, right? And then took, how do I say it, like 2D outlines of each object and transferred them into vectors and cut them out. But basically, doing that, I was sure that it's gonna fit together, right, in the end, because it's hard to envision that in your head. So basically, I think when they prepare toys like that, dinosaur bones or whatever, for example, a robot, Gundam robot, somebody will probably have to build it in 3D or something, right? First, build the whole model 100%. In 3D space, and then, you know, unwrap it, lay it down flat, and then cut it out. So it will take some work, but it's possible. It's very possible.
Yeah.
If
you know, one thing that comes to mind immediately is like making boxes with finger joints. You know.
Yeah.
There are online tools that let you do that
for boxes
in 1 second. Yeah, you type
the dimensions of the boxes. Exactly. Yeah, the thickness of the material, and it adjusts the fingers. Yeah.
Yes.
That's true. So if anybody needs to do a box, you can easily find the online program to do it. Yeah, to design it for you. Yeah.
Someone should make a program to design a Gundam, I think. Like
probably Gundam.
Why not?
Yeah. Why not? Well, okay. I think. Look, it's been a lovely chat. I think we can finish here. We touched on a lot of the stuff, and it was lovely talking with you. And you know, for everybody else, there's going to be other streams tomorrow and each day until Friday. So be sure to check out the FLUX social media and stuff and see what other people are going to talk about. Each one is going to be a creative person from different, how do I say it, that does different things. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. All right, so thank you for talking with me, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, sometimes we'll be in touch.
Have a great evening.
Have a great evening. Yeah. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.